Hey, do you guys have a hurricane preparedness kit? If you don't have a hurricane preparedness kit, why not? If you do have one, why do you have it? Are you paranoid? Are you afraid that a hurricane might hit and it might destroy everything that you've got? All of your personal possessions? It might kill a family member. You might lose your life. Do you store food in the event of an emergency? Do you have enough food for 2 weeks? Because that would be the minimum in Hawaii before we would really start hurting. And do you have insurance? Why do you have insurance on your car? Are you paranoid? Are you afraid that you're going to get into a car wreck? Now, the reason I ask these things is because one of my VBSS students, visit board search and seizure in the military, contacted me recently and was in the hospital. Now, he was in the hospital because he was mobbed by a bunch of local guys down in Waikiki, which is a common thing. Local guys like doing that. They love ganging up on somebody and beating on him and robbing him. I can tell you about Acacia and Les Schnabel and different guys like that who have killed people just because they wanted to beat on somebody. So the student, VBSS student of mine, he calls me up and then he sends me a message and asks me, tells me he's in the hospital, tells me what happened. He had some brain swelling. And then he asked me if I thought he should start training in self-defense. No, of course not. Why? It's not like anything's ever going to happen, right? It's not like you're ever going to have to protect yourself. It's not like you're ever going to have to defend yourself against an attack. Because we all know that if you're attacked, you probably deserved it, right? No, not right. And of course I told him absolutely you should start training. Next question is always, well, what should I do? Should I do jiu-jitsu? Should I do... And jiu-jitsu is a great form of self-defense, but the way local guys fight, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, not going to do you a lot of good if you're on the ground. Actually, no martial art is going to. You just got to run and get the heck out of there. But you need to learn some basic striking. Now, one thing that people, when they think they're learning self-defense, is they are afraid to spar. They're terrified to spar. And I can tell you that you can learn all the techniques in the world, but the first time you take a shot in the nose and your eyes start watering so bad you can't see and you can't breathe, you can taste your blood in the back of your throat, and you're a little bit disoriented, all those techniques in the world aren't going to help. And the reason being is because you have never sparred. You don't know what it's like to take a hard shot in the face. Now, I'm not telling you that it's not going to help you, because anything can help you. But most importantly, self-defense situation, get out of there. Now, these guys robbed this guy, so they obviously had him cornered. They false cracked him and dropped him, and then they kicked him and put the boots to him while he was on the ground. Typical chicken shit cowards. But I told this guy, yeah, you definitely need to start doing some self-defense. So he's asking what style, and I told him, it needs to be an ongoing thing. It doesn't matter what style martial art it's in, but if you're interested in some street self-defense, get involved in some kickboxing, so you're learning to punch and kick and strike, Krav Maga class, even a good strong Taekwondo class where you're just slamming some kicks and punches into targets. I don't mean cardio, I mean real sparring and making contact with each other. Not to the point where you're trying to be assholes and hurt everybody in the gym, but you actually know what it feels like, and your body is learning to condition itself against impact. That's important, because otherwise you're never going to learn what it's like to have to be able to defend yourself. And that's the most important thing, because man, once you get hit, everything else is out the window. The Shaolin dragon style isn't going to work. The Kempo dance of death isn't going to work. Nothing's going to work. So when it comes down to it, you just got to learn to be able to put your hands up and absorb some punishment as well as dishing some out. Well, the funny thing is, this isn't the first time that I've gotten a call like this. Over the years, I've probably gotten a dozen of them from people, exactly the same thing, who have been beaten up, they've been attacked, and now, only now, they want to learn some self-defense. And the funny thing is that all of them want a quick shortcut to self-defense. There is no quick shortcut. There's only preparedness. Just like preparing for a hurricane or a tornado or a power outage, you have to have some resources. You have to have batteries, you have to have a radio, you have to have a cell phone available, you have to have some shelter, you have to have a way of covering up the windows, you definitely have to have some food and a large supply of water. And people don't realize that. They're just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go find some. Here in Hawaii, can you imagine if there was a catastrophe, if there was, when Antifa does break out here in Hawaii, how bad it's going to be? Because they're basically anarchists, which means they have no problem stealing and hurting law-abiding citizens. They have no problem destroying public property. But it doesn't matter where you're at in this country. You got to be prepared, and those resources need to include a good regiment of consistent training. Now, by consistent training, I don't mean go out and take a seminar and call yourself good, because people make this same mistake by the thousands in this country. And what I mean by making this mistake is they'll go out, they'll buy a gun, and then they will never go to the range. They'll never take a class, especially guys. Guys think automatically, well, bought a gun, I automatically know how to use it. And that's how accidents happen in the home. And self-defense wise, that's the same thing. That's how accidents happen in a street fight. You think you know how to fight, you don't. The next thing you know, you got 2 or 3 guys on you. So in a real self-defense situation, if you gotta run, get out of there. That's your best bet. But please be prepared. Wherever you're at, I don't care what city you live in, find a good martial arts school. Make sure that it's ongoing. Like for us, we have a combatives class, which is strictly street fighting, Krav combatives. And we do it twice a week. And pretty much everybody there, they don't get burnt out on it that way. They don't try to overthink it. They're not trying to say, well, I got to be here every night, got to train every night. It's 2 days a week. We cover everything from facing weapons to using weapons. We have live fire firearms training. We learn to defend against a blade. We learn how to use a blade against multiple attackers. What would you do if you were just a bystander walking by and all of a sudden you find yourself in a crowd of Antifa and these guys are coming after you, and the only thing that you have to protect yourself or your family is your regular pocket knife? Do you know how to use it? Because that is important. So people, go out there, find some good training. That's your preparedness, and prepare all the time. Make it something that you can do consistently and ongoing so you don't get burnt out on it, and make it something that you understand what it's going to feel like to get hit once in a while. A couple of days ago, I was sparring in the gym, 6 kickboxers in the ring, and one of the new guys, I was letting him hit me, and he was just swinging for the fences. And I put my hands down a little bit and let him, whatever was in his system, I wanted him to get it out. And caught a little bit of a shiner. And then now some of the people, the older ladies in the gym, are like, oh my God, you got a black eye. And I'm saying, yeah, I do. That's what happens when you're sparring in kickboxing. And they're like, I hope you got him back. No, that wasn't my job. My job isn't to punish somebody for me getting a black eye. My job is for me to keep my hands up. My job is for me to learn how to move my head and avoid getting hit. My job is to take the fight to my adversary, not try to absorb as much as possible. But again, that's the perspective of somebody who never does spar. They don't understand what it's like. So get in there and get some good training, people. Be safe, be prepared, and know how to protect your family. This is Bob Smith, and blood makes you related, and loyalty makes you family. Out.